Chamber will come to order.
Oh, sure, thank you.
A regular meeting of the City Council held in the Council Chamber on Thursday, March 22nd, 2012, at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of the meeting was posted on March 16, 2012, at 10:39 a.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Absent is Councilor Joan Lovely, who advises me she has another engagement. She'll be here at like at 7:30 or 7:45, so I will be the interim president, and hope you give me prompt attention and understanding. I haven't been here for a while. But please all stand. Councilor Siegel, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Councilor Siegel moves with the dispensing of the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. President Lovely requested that everyone please rise, which we already did. Next matter, public testimony. Any public testimony, Madam City Clerk?
None.
Hearing none. Next matter, appointments and reappointments. Page 3.
We have the mayor's appointment of James Nolan to serve on the Commission on Disabilities with a term to expire on February 1st, 2013.
What's the pleasure of the City Council? Is Mr. Nolan here?
Held under the rules.
Held under the rules.
Moved by Councilor Sosowski, held under the rules. Next matter is mayor's appointment of Michael Duffy to serve on the Zoning Board of Appeals with a term to expire on July 1st, 2012. What's the council's? Same thing, Councilor Sosnowski, held under the rules. The third matter, held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of John B. Hoskins to serve on the Conservation Commission with a term to expire January 1st, 2015. I have a note from the city clerk's office that reads, John Hoskins has an appointment to the will not be here tonight due to a conflict with work and held over for the next meeting, and I believe he's talked to Councilor Prevey about it. And is that your pleasure, Councilor Prevey, held over till the 12th?
I make that motion.
All right, John Hoskins is held over until the next regular meeting of the City Council. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Next matter, page 4. Communications from Her Honor the Mayor.
We have an appropriation of $175,000 from fund balance free cash to human resources unemployment compensation.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance under the rules.
Thank you, sir. All in favor? Remarks?
No.
All right, all in favor? Opposed? So voted. Move to the Committee on A&F. Next matter.
We have an appropriation of $17,724.15 from Retirement Stabilization Fund Vacation Sick Leave Buyback account to be expended for the retirement of the following: Edith Metcalf and Evelyn Lovely.
I recognize Councilor A&F Chairman, Councilor McCarthy, Ward 1.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor McCarthy moves suspension of the rules. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Councilor McCarthy.
I further
Remarks?
move for adoption.
Move for adoption. Remarks?
Thank you, Mr. President. Under discussion, as we've seen in the past, these are two retirements from the school department. These retirements have gone through the process and have made it through all the channels and have come to us for final approval. Earlier this evening, I had Mr. Viscay in for another matter and asked him if there was enough resources in the fund to cover these retirements. He stated that there was, and since these these amounts are contractual, I move for approval.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of members of the City Council or the Chairman of the Committee on A&F? Hearing none. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Unanimous. Madam City Clerk.
We have an appropriation of $12,000 from capital outlay equipment to be expended for the purchase of electrical vehicle charging stations for the municipal garages.
Councilor McCarthy, Chairman of A&F.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
All right, all in favor? Opposed? So voted. Remarks, Councilor?
Under discussion, thank you. We all have the letter from the mayor and acting council president has submitted another document to us as well. I think this is a great idea. It's a great initiative to bring in the charging stations into the garage. I just want to have the planning department in, as well as Mr. Hacker from the parking garage, to make sure that we understand what we're getting for our money, and I'm sure that the committee will refer this out at the next meeting. Thank you.
Any questions, Councilor Sosnowski, Ward 2?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to ask that it please be co-posted, Committee of the Whole.
Is that agreeable with you, Mr. Chairman?
No problem, thank you.
No problem. Co-post with the Committee of Council Committee of the Whole. No, any further remarks? Seeing none. All in favor, opposed, so voted, unanimous. Next matter, Madam City Clerk.
We have an appropriation of $8,825 from the capital outlay renovation and repair to be expended for the repair of the MBTA handicap ramp which runs from North Street overpass to the MBTA
Councilman-
parking lot.
Council McCarthy, Chairman of the Committee on A&F.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
All in favor of suspension of the rules? Remarks, Councilor?
Under discussion,
Discussion.
I just, if the will is to move this to committee to have Mr. St. Pierre come in and talk about it, I will. But as seen in the letter, I had a conversation with our building commissioner on this matter. I was in his office on an unrelated matter, and he told me this matter would be coming in front of us. The ramp itself is in need of repair. The handrails looks like the wood on them is kind of twisted and it's gone south, and the whole ramp itself needs some general repairs to make it safe. He told me that this amount of money would cover the transaction to have this contractually repaired. I believe it's a safety concern for anybody who utilizes that ramp, and I don't, unless there's a will of the body to bring Mr. St. Pierre in front of us to have him talk about this matter. I mean, I personally spoke to the building commissioner about this matter. It needs to be done. It needs to be addressed. It's a safety issue. I would move for approval.
Any remarks, any questions? Councilor Sosnowski, Ward 2.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I absolutely support this being moved forward this evening. As the liaison to the Commission on Disability, with all the years in my past serving here, except for this year, we're very much aware of the condition of that, as well as the stairs itself, and I'm surprised the stairs, we don't have an appropriation before us for the stairs because they're dangerous as well. And absolutely, if we could move this forward, I would join Councilor McCarthy in asking the rest of the council to support this evening. And thank you.
Thank you. Any other remarks? Any members of the council? I notice a lot of bikes use that ramp. It's a wooden ramp, correct?
Correct.
And a lot of bikes go down and make it, that don't want to get on the steps. No further remarks. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Unanimous. Madam City Clerk, next matter.
We have an appropriation of $2,220 from receipts reserve sale of vaults account to the cemetery burial account.
Councilor McCarthy, Ward 1, Chairman of the Committee on AF.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the suspension. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor McCarthy moves suspension of rules. All in favor? Suspension? Remarks or discussion, Councilor?
Under discussion, thank you, Mr. President. I also move for adoption. Under discussion.
Discussion, Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. President. The matter in front of us, it comes from the cemetery. This, we get requests from Mr. Renard occasionally on this matter. It's just a transfer of receipts from the burial account to buy vaults, so that we, and we want to do this before the end of the fiscal year, as seen in the letter. It's been, as long as I've been chair of A&F and as I've served on it, it's a standard procedure that comes in front of us, and I see no reason to hold this up, so I would move for approval.
Any other remarks, members of the City Council? Hearing none. All in favor of this adoption of this order? All opposed? Unanimous. Adopted.
We have an ordinance amending zoning section 8.1 wetlands and flood hazard overlay district and 8.12 flood hazard districts, boundaries and floodway and base flood evaluation data.
Councilor Peavy. You have a motion to refer this to planning board?
Council Sosnowski.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Sosnowski, I'm sorry. I didn't look far enough. It's Councilor Michael Sosnowski, Ward 2.
Thank you, Mr.
Councilor
President.
Sosnowski.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Okay, I move that this matter be referred to the planning board, so that we can schedule a joint meeting between the planning board and the city council.
And that'll be arranged by the city clerk at a time certain, correct?
Correct.
With coordinating with the planning board. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Next matter, Madam City Clerk, page 8. Oh, page 7. I'm sorry. Any information from the mayor, Madam City Clerk?
None.
None. Number 8. Madam City Clerk?
This is motions, orders, and resolutions, and the council's bringing stuff in.
Yes, ma'am.
Motions, orders, and resolutions. That's where we're at.
Motions, orders, and resolutions. A.
Just try to thumb through this stuff. We can do that.
Oh, yeah, you don't have that.
It's on the agenda. That's second passage.
Shall we go to the next order? Next order, Councilor Terrell. Councilor Terrell, Ward 5.
Thank you, Mr. President. Salem City Council, City of Salem, March 22nd, 2012. We have an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time on Ocean Avenue in front of number 58 Ocean Avenue for a distance of 20 feet.
Thank you, Council. Remarks? On the merits of this, order?
This is for a resident who has no driveway on Ocean Avenue, and the houses adjacent are both being used as rental properties and have a substantial number of residents that make it difficult for her to access the home. So this is to set up a single handicap spot in front of her house.
Thank you. Any other questions, Councilor? Hearing- All in favor? Opposed, so voted. Unanimous, Councilor Terrell. Next matter, Councilor Terrell.
Okay. This.
Ocean Ave.
All right, this is a whole sequence of related ones. City of Salem, City Councils, March 22nd, 2012. This is to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zone limited time. This is for repealing a handicap space on Broadway in front of number 95 and a section on a handicap space on Broadway in front of number 120. In both cases, these are for residents who are no longer present. One of them apparently departed roughly 15 years ago and it never was observed. The other one is for Mr. John Walsh, who's moved over to Eden Street and no longer needs the spot there.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of the adoption of this handicap withdrawal? Opposed, so voted. Unanimous.
Okay.
Councilor Terrell, next one.
Okay, and here's
Page
the
9.
rest of them. Okay, City of Salem, Salem City Council, March 22nd, 2012. This is an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 57A, parking time limited unmetered zones. This is on Broadway, westerly side, roughly in front of, beginning point 70 feet from Loring Avenue for a distance of 58 feet, 30-minute parking, Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., parking time limited unmetered zone. This is to service the insurance agency and the tile shop that are at the corner of Broadway and Loring right now. At the present, one of these is some of this is one of the handicap spaces that we just repealed, and the other, some of that is the service zone is being shrunk a little bit in order to accommodate a couple of business spaces. Right now, it's parking that is that's unregulated in that area outside the service zone, and we have a lot of Salem State students parking there and then just walking off to class and leaving their car all day.
Any questions of Councilor Terrell on this order? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed, so voted. Unanimous. Councilor Terrell.
Okay, last one. City of Salem City Council, March 22nd, 2012. This is to amend an ordinance relative to traffic 42, Chapter 42, Section 13, service zone. This will, Broadway, westerly side, beginning at point 20 feet from Loring Avenue for a distance of 50 feet, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., no parking service zone. This is a slight shrinkage of the existing service zone, so it will be re-signed and repainted. and allowed for, and right now it's a service zone. It's the way it's currently marked, it's a service zone all week long, and it only needs to be a service zone during the weekdays when there are deliveries taking place to the tile shop.
And that's
this
the
will
same
allow for some
location,
additional
that's the
parking.
same location as the tile shop, or is that near the barber shop?
Yeah, it's the stretch, this is all affecting the stretch from the tile shop to Loring Avenue itself.
Thank you. Any questions for Councilor Turiel? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed, so voted. Unanimous, Councilor.
Thank you.
Madam City Clerk, committee reports. Councilor Peavy, I'm sorry, Councilor Peavy?
Thank you, Mr.
We're
President.
going to revert back, ma'am, sort of?
Yeah,
We're on
We're
page
still on
8.
motion orders and resolutions.
All right, page 8.
Thank you. City of Salem in the year 2012, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 49, obedience to isolated stop signs. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Irving Street, at the intersection of Herod Street, stop sign. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter.
Remarks, Councilor?
Briefly, Mr. President, at the end of Irving Street where it intersects with Herod, people used to think that there was a stop sign there. There should have been a stop sign there all along. When Lieutenant Brzezinski looked into and investigated, there really was no ordinance that had put one there. So, and at some point in time, there was a stop sign that was taken down and was put up. So when Lieutenant Brzezinski looked into it, he saw that there wasn't. So obviously, I'm going to ask for action to be taken to have a stop sign legally put there, and then we'll have one up there and monitor it just to make sure that safety at that intersection is taken care of.
So, Councilor, Harrod Street runs parallel to Harmony Grove from Irving out to Tremont?
Yes.
Is that, okay.
Right.
Any other remarks, and
No,
members of the
Mr.
City
President,
Council? Councilor?
Just quickly, I mean, this is a
Sergeant.
notorious cut-through to avoid Tremont Street and the intersection of Tremont and Grove Street. I know it well, and it's needed, and it was there when I was younger growing up. It just somehow came down, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Sergeant. Any other members of the City Council? All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Next matter, Madam City Clerk.
No people coming up Irving. Fire on the corner.
Committee reports. Councilor Snosky, Ward 2.
Thank you. City of Salem and City Council, March 22, 2012. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of granting certain licenses, has considered said matter and recommend approval. Tag days, Salem High School tennis team and Salem High School boys lacrosse.
All in favor of accepting the committee report? All in favor of adopting the recommendation of the committee? Adopted, Councilor. All right, next matter, Councilor Sosnowski again.
City of Salem and City Council, March 22, 2012. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of continuing the matter of continuation of a public hearing on the discontinuance of Eaton Place as an accepted street, has considered said matter and would recommend that the city clerk and the city solicitor present a council order to remove Eaton Place from the list of accepted streets, and that the following attached order by the solicitor be adopted.
All in favor of accepting the committee report? Opposed? Hearing none. Councilor Sosnowski, remarks on the order?
Thank you. Some time ago, for a variety of reasons, there were a bunch of streets that were included as private streets that were essentially added to the city's rolls of accepted streets. In this particular case, we have one here where the gentleman wants his property back. We had the public hearings, we had a variety of meetings on this thing, and we're trying to return this property back to him. He's aware that now that he has the property, he's going to have to maintain it, he's going to have to plow it, and he's going to have to be concerned with trash pickup as well. So all these factors have been discussed. Everybody's on the same page, and this is a recommendation from the committee and from the city solicitor.
Any other members of the council want to ask any questions? Hearing all in favor? Opposed? So voted. Unanimous. Councilor McCarthy. You next. Oh, Councilor Sosnowski?
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, March 22, 2012. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter regarding amending the taxi ordinance, has considered said matter and would recommend that a special committee be formed, including Councilor Lovely, Councilor Sosnowski, representatives from each of the taxi cab companies, Mr. Barry Neely, the city solicitor, and the police department, and to work on the fares to be changed to meters, and that they be reported back to the Committee on Ordinances, Licensing, and Legal Affairs with these changes and recommendations.
All in favor of acceptance of the committee report? All opposed, none? Remarks, Counselor, on the...
Discussion, thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, basically, the subcommittee of the Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs Standing Committee met with representatives here, and we've come to some general understandings of what we want to do with this. Essentially, we're trying not to rewrite the entire ordinance because that would present about a $1,500 bill to advertise it. So what we're doing is we're tweaking the existing ordinance, and we're changing it from zones and certain fares here. We're simply going to meters, straight out, because we're trying to do something that's equitable for the taxi cab companies, because the last time we did this, their rates were, the last time we set fares for the company, it was 2004. And as everybody knows, the prices between fuel for filling up your cabs in 2004 and what they are today it's a world of difference. Right? So to make it equitable here so that everybody can actually make a living in this entire matter, we've considered this matter and we're establishing that point right now. There was a draft being prepared by the city solicitor that's going to come back, and now that this is done, that we have to now reschedule a meeting of the Standing Committee of Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and review the draft that the city solicitor presented as a result of that subcommittee, and then after we review that draft, we might make a change here or there, all right? Then we'll make that presentation to the full council.
Thank you, Counselor. Any questions? Counselor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to thank Councilor Sosnowski for bringing this in. I just want, for the record, it's the first, I've been at these meetings with the taxi cab operators for a long time, and at various stages, and it's the first time that all of the taxi cab companies that were present are actually on the same page. We've been, as much as we've been trying to help the cab operators with what Councilor Sosnowski just said, with the increases in gas, insurance, and all that, and coming to a fair, equitable solution as to how we increase that, at the same time as the cab companies were fighting amongst themselves. They went back and forth. Some cab companies wanted zones, which was a very complicated map, and some wanted meters. And finally, they've come to a consensus, so to speak, that they think meters is the way to go. I'll be very interested to see what the proposal is coming from the subcommittee back to the committee as to what their potential fares would be. Because, you know, I understand the need. Right now, you can go anywhere in the city for $5.25, $5.75. And how that's going to work, but but for the record, it's the first time the cab company's been on the same page in which way they want to go, other than a flat fee or zones or meters. At least we're working towards the meters, and then everyone will know right when they get in what the connect charge is to start, the whole 9 yards. So I think it's a better way to go. Zones was going to be very complicated. I want to thank the cab companies for finally stepping up to the plate and coming to consensus among themselves, and now working with us to work this out. So I think it's great. So.
Thank you, Counselor. I also want to salute Counselor Sosnowski. I was on the committee. You want remarks, Counselor, you want to add to what Counselor McCarthy just said?
Briefly.
Briefly.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You talk
Yes.
about one company that didn't show up. Can you say how we're going to handle that? One of the cab companies never showed up.
Let me go back to something Councilor McCarthy referred to here. This has been going on to 2.5, 3 years, I believe. It's become to the point where it's almost a laughing matter. To that end, I was talking with Mr. Barry Neely, and I have to give Mr. Neely credit. He's the one that really has spurred this to come to the conclusion. I had a conversation with him, and I said, you know, you mad at us for the delays, but there's 5 companies here in Salem, and each of the 5 of you want to go in 5 different directions. You got to knock that off. You got to tell us, you got to get together on the same page. And I further tasked him, and I said, not only do you 5 companies in Salem have to get together, you need to talk with the surrounding communities. You need to find out what Beverly's charging, what Lynn's charging, Peabody, Danvers, etc. You can't, go from one community to another, to another, to another, and have not only the 5 companies that we happen to license be on different pages, but then it gets even more ridiculous when it goes to a different community. Get on the same page. Toward that end, he did his homework, he came back, like Councilor McCarthy says, and we've hit a historic high here. Actually, they've all agreed to a thing. Now what we need to do, there are a couple of companies that didn't show up, they may or may not like it. Toward that end, the city solicitor, I need to give the city solicitor some credit as well. She did a study of the surrounding communities, and figured out which communities were doing what. Because a lot of the earlier conversations were, do we want to do zones? Okay, what's the zone? Where are the borders? How far is the zone? What's the radius of where one zone changes to another? Do we want to do that, or do we want to do meters? And then some people wanted meters based on time, and then some people wanted meters based on distance. And again, that conversation came up. Knock it off, guys. Get on the same page. All right? It's been a long series of meetings, and I'm really glad to say that we're getting very near the end, and I believe that within 30 days, this thing's going to be before us and resolved and out of here. Thank goodness. And not only that, we're going to also serve the citizens of Salem well, because Councilor McCarthy made a comment that no matter what we do to make it fair and equitable for the taxi cab companies, we also have to make it fair and equitable to the people that they serve, which is the people we represent. Right? And that, it was a good point, well made, Councilor McCarthy. But I mean, these things are all being considered. All right? And again, like I say, we're making some great progress, and finally we're seeing the light. And that's where we are at this point. Do you have any questions on that relative to the companies that weren't here?
I would respectfully recommend that they ignore evidently the letters, these other three taxi companies ignore the letters from the city clerk's office.
And from the city solicitor as well.
So it would be wise, I would recommend to you, the committee, that you have personal service by Officer Page of all the companies again, and have them sign for the letter that the city clerk would again send to them, so we know that we gave them service and they never showed up.
Mr. President,
my experience, you've got to get
I understand where you're
personal
going with that, because it more or less a certified letter letting them know. I understand where you're going with that.
City clerk.
All right. They have been notified not only by the city clerk, who gives me the copies of the letters that she sends. Actually, the assistant city clerk,
There's no
Eileen, does
question
that
in
as
that.
well. There's no question they've been notified. All right. Also, the city solicitor personally called these folks as well. If they choose not to show up, that's their problem. We need to move forward. We need to go forward with the good companies that are reputable, that are willing to come to the plate, make the hard decisions, and serve this community. They want to have a business, but they need to serve this community. If they want to come forward and step to the plate and do the hard work that we've been doing, I applaud them. For those that want to sit in the background and complain and mumble, that's a good place for them, in the background.
But
We'll
Counsel, I'm
keep on
just
going.
recommending, in my experience, you give it to them in their hand at their place of business by a police officer, they're going to get the message.
Mr. President, that was also a discussion, because some people have their place of business as a parking lot on the street.
Well, I would hope not.
That's being changed. That was one of the things that's being addressed in the special subcommittee. All right, some of these places are so shoestring run, for lack of a better term. They're going to know what's going on here, because the police department will in fact be handing them their licenses and saying, in order for you to operate in this city, this is the set of rules, end of conversation, and go from there.
Thank you, Counsel. Any other
Mr.
members
President.
of the council want to talk about this? Anyone? All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Unanimous. We are now, Counsel McCarthy. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, March 22nd, 2012, the Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of an appropriation in the amount of $30,000 from fund balance free cash to inspectional services fees. DEP administration has considered said matter and would recommend approval.
All in favor of accepting the report? Opposed? Hearing none. Discussion, Councilor McCarthy?
On discussion, thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met earlier this evening. Unfortunately, Mr. St. Pierre wasn't able to be here. He notified me he had a conflict, but I was able to have a lengthy discussion with Mr. St. Pierre on this matter and explained all the facts as Mr. St. Pierre has explained them to me. Basically, when Mr. St. Pierre took over inspectional services, one thing he did on Winter Island was there was approximately 20 buried tanks in the ground, and he had them all removed, 2 of which contained aviation fuel, which had leaks in them and had leaked into the ground. We have been dealing with that matter for quite some time, and most recently, a few years ago, the LSP that was working for the city is doing the remediation of the site. We had venting systems and whatnot. Currently, right now, the test wells that for these 2 tanks haven't been monitored for the last 4 years. They need a monitoring, which would cost us approximately $18,000 to set up the monitoring, run the tests. he's asking for the additional money as well is because at this time, he believes with the new LSP we have on, that the additional funds will be able to take the test, petition the state, and get the site declared with an AUL so that we no longer will have to pay for the monitoring. Currently, we pay an administration fee on this site of approximately $2,000 a year that Mr. St. Pierre has to come back in front of us. He has this site as well as a couple others of city-owned property that are brownfield sites that we have to go through the administration process and file with the state. His intention is, if we, as the committee agreed to, if we appropriate the $30,000, we'll have the testing that's mandated be done by September done. We'll petition the state DEP, and hopefully the outcome will be that the state will declare the site not so much clean, but the site will be considered, it will have an AUL put on it. So that way we understand that there is contaminants in the ground. There's been no migration of the contaminants. There's been no contamination of salt water into it because it's down in a deep crevice. You can't get it out. It's just, and the tests that have been run have shown that the amount has been dissipating gradually over time, which you would expect that eventually it would evaporate. So hopefully with the appropriation and the proper filing, the state will come back and say that put an AUL on that particular area, that if in down the road in the future, if we were to do any sort of construction on that site, particularly with regard to that area, you'd have to have an LSP present. So the will of the committee was to allow Mr. St. Pierre to expend the $30,000 to try to get this site cleared up.
Very comprehensive report, Councilor. Councilor Sosnowski, Ward 2.
Thank you. I am totally in support of this appropriation because I just, it's fine. It's not something that has to be done. It's just that on a matter of principle, I'm aggravated. The federal government came in, they put these tanks there, then they left, and they said, we're going to hold you responsible for removing them. And then they did their federal EPA guidelines, which came down through the state, then to us, for us to take care of a matter that they left behind. It's just a matter of principle. It irks me that they do it, they put it there, and now they tell us we need to get rid of it. Right? And it's
Councilor, for the council's information, you're correct. Years ago, the federal government would call them the right of the sovereign. They could do what they want.
Oh, of course.
And they would put in tanks and take land and what have you because they thought it was in the national interest, national defense. Now, we can't do that. The government cannot, federal government cannot do it. It's got to comply.
It's not,
Sovereign
I
is
don't
the king.
question them. They can come in at any time and reclaim the island, technically.
Well,
even though that would be a battle and a half, but I mean,
Councilor,
my point was very simply, it's just, our feet are being held to the fire for something that they created.
Thank you, Councilor. You're correct. Councilor Jerry Ryan, Ward 4.
Thank you, Mr. President. I brought that issue up in the committee. I asked if we were going to be reimbursed because normally when there's contamination and the company that did the contamination is still in existence, you can go after them. But since it's the federal government or Coast Guard, I didn't know if the city had tried to go after them and get the money, because the last time I checked, the city of Salem doesn't have a helicopter or airplanes, or they would need the aviation fuel.
Technically, aviation gas you can't get credit for. Only flammable combustible liquids, which are gasoline and diesel, not F-gas. F-gas, federal government has excluded them because of commercial airlines, whatever. All in favor? All opposed? So voted. Councilor McCarthy again, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, March 22nd, 2012. The Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of an appropriation in the amount of $24,000 from fund balance free cash to assess his contracted services, has considered this matter and recommend approval.
All in favor of the acceptance of the committee report? Opposed? So voted. Remarks? Discussion, Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee met earlier this evening, and we had the finance director as well as Deb Jackson, and basically we are in the we're due for a 10-year reevaluation where all the properties have to be reevaluated. We asked for an extension. We're right at the finish line of this process of getting the reevaluation done. There is some additional work that needs to be done with regards to making sure we have everything lined up and everything properly documented. There's a few more commercial properties that need to be done, as well as coordination and collation of all the paperwork that needs to be presented to the Department of Revenue. We handle a lot of this stuff in-house. As Mr. Viscay brought up, one of our neighboring communities just went out to bid to allow an outside entity to do the whole thing. We do a lot of this in-house, and they were expending somewhere in there correct me if I'm wrong, I think Mr. Viskey said $600,000. So we do a lot of this in-house. When asked, when Councilor Ryan brought up the question of where the money, as you can see in the letter, there's a surplus. There's been about $130,000 left over, of which we're transferring this $24,000 over. Deb Jackson has been able to work through a lot of the stuff that's been pending with regards to abatements and whatnot that have come through her office over the years, and has been able to clear up a lot of those recently, so she was able to get that money. So we're going to use $24,000 of that money to hire a third party to come in and help us get to the point where we get everything organized, get all the final details done, so we can present over to the Department of Revenue. And the recommendation from the committee was to approve.
Any member of the council have a question to the finance chairman? Hearing none. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Unanimous. Council Prevey, Ward 6. Oh, one. Oh, you're all done, aren't you?
But one more.
One more?
One more. City of Salem City Council, March 22nd, 2012. The Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of the transfer in the amount of $16,000 from assessor's full-time salary to assessor's contracted services, has considered the matter and will recommend approval.
All in favor of accepting the report? Opposed? Remarks? Discussion, Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, we met early this evening, and Mr. Viskey and Deb Jackson were present. And the $16,000 is basically for new computer software to help run the department. The feeling was because there were some vacancies in the department that with the layover from the new hires and whatnot, there was excess money in salaries that they're not going to be looking. They're just looking to transfer the line item from what was going to be left over in salaries to contractual services to buy the software now to get it up and running. And then in the upcoming budget, we'll see the annual maintenance fee for the software. The software that we're currently using is kind of outdated, and this will just help the department be able to manage themselves better. And as I just stated previously, we do a lot of this stuff in-house, and this upgrade to the software is needed in the committee recommended approval.
Thank you. Any remarks? Any additional? Hearing none. All in favor? Adoption? Unanimous. Now, Councilor Paul Prevey, Ward 6.
Thank you, Mr.
Chairman of the Committee
President.
on Public Health, Safety, and Environment.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that introduction. City of Salem, the City Council, March 22nd, 2012. The Committee on Public Health, Safety, and the Environment co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter regarding the adoption of the Home Rule petition for permitting use of traffic control signal violation monitoring system, red light cameras, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee for a further study.
All in favor of accepting the committee report? All opposed? Hearing none. Discussion, Councilor, on this?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We had the committee meeting last night, and as part of the committee meeting, we had invited in members of the police department, in particular the chief of police. He sent us his representative, Lieutenant Przewski, the city solicitor was here, and John Giardi, the city electrician. And during the discussion, the city solicitor had presented to us essentially what is being proposed by the mayor, that the city council adopt a home rule petition, because there is no law throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that allows communities individually to have red light cameras essentially at intersections. So by use of the home rule petition process, Salem, and she had mentioned that Pittsfield's in the process of doing the same thing by submitting something to the general court for consideration. So if we obviously adopt this, then we would be permitted legally to have these red light cameras, and they would be enforceable under the laws of Mass General Law. The city solicitor advised us also that she has looked at the legislation that has been proposed for the state legislature to adopt throughout the Commonwealth, and it's either mirrors it completely or it's completely identical to what's being proposed. And just as a side note, the legislation was introduced by our own representative, John Keenan, who introduced this to the legislature. So there is a joint session of the House and Senate that is scheduled sometime in June. And the expectation is that the legislation that John Keenan proposed, as well as our home rule petition, will be advanced at that point, should the council approve it. Now, that's kind of the backdrop of what's going on in terms of advancing this legislation. The committee had a lot of questions, and unfortunately there wasn't a lot of information that was provided to us just because the research hasn't been done. A lot of it has to do with the finances, because the way the proposal is being submitted to the council is that we would essentially come up with the money that would take to purchase these cameras if the home rule petition was adopted by both the council and the state legislature. We would come up with the money, the cameras would be installed, then any revenue that would be generated as a result of those tickets, the fines that are associated with that, would be used to offset the costs that we fronted to purchase these cameras. After that cost is taken care of and that debt, whatever that consists of, is paid, then the rest of any money generated from that point forward would be earmarked, for lack of a better word, for public safety in Salem. In terms of earmarking it, there's no special account that's been set up, no enterprise fund, nothing along those lines. Mr. Visquet didn't attend last night just largely because he wasn't invited. But obviously when the financial questions arose, it became clear that Mr. Visquet really needs to kind of weigh in on this and advise the council, or the committee anyways, at least, and then the full council as to how this essentially would occur with respect to the fines. So there's the financial aspect of it. People had concerns about how tickets would be issued. The tickets essentially would be akin to parking tickets. They would not constitute moving violations. There wouldn't be a surcharge on people's insurance. Essentially the way it works is someone who violates a red light by blowing through it at an intersection with these cameras, a picture would be taken, the police department monitors it, they have an identification of the license plate in the car, and they identify who the owner of that car is, and the ticket is issued to that person. One of the other unanswered questions ends up being is how much we would issue for those tickets. That issue hasn't been decided either, according to the city solicitor. The way the legislation that's being proposed, the ticket would be up to $100. That would be the ceiling essentially, but we can pick any figure, I guess, anywhere in between, but obviously up to no more than $100, at least at this point. Some of the other concerns that were raised during the committee also were the effectiveness of it. Lieutenant Przewski certainly cited other communities throughout the United States, actually, other states that have adopted, other municipalities that have adopted these cameras. They use them, and at least the research that Lieutenant Przewski has done seems to suggest that there was a lowering of accidents at those intersections where cameras were used over, it seemed, a longer period of time. But I know the research is mixed on that too. There was a gentleman, a resident, who appeared here. He had done his own research on it. I've since read some research online about how some communities have adopted red light cameras, and then they end up getting rid of them because they basically wound up having different types of car accidents as a result. People who are trying to blow through a red light, those cause accidents. When you put the cameras in there and people become aware of it, then it becomes another issue of people having fender benders, slamming into each other, because as soon as they see the yellow light, as opposed to trying to go through the intersection to clear it, people are slamming on their brakes. So I think we have to take a look at those issues, the financial issues, as well as the real public safety issue aspect of it before we make a decision. The city solicitor said that she would contact the finance director, work with the police about getting that information back to the committee so we can have another committee hearing about this matter and kind of move forward one way or another, whether the council chooses to adopt this or not. So that's where things stand with the committee.
Thank you, Council. Very comprehensive report. Councilor Lodge Thomas Fury.
I think in little personal reference to also, Councilor Prevy's father was former police chief, father. So this is a very important issue I think we all should take serious consideration. 11 years ago in this chamber, we were resolving the issue of smoking in restaurants. We have no smoking in restaurants now. It took a heated battle by the Board of Health and this city council to make Salem one of the first cities in the Massachusetts to be smoke-free restaurants. We think nothing of it. Public safety, health. I think it's a matter of time, sincerely, that the state should mandate all cities and towns to do it, but I don't think that's going to happen in the near future. I think cities and towns like Salem need to send a message to the state legislature, making it a statewide issue. But if we do it first, like we did smoking in public places, in restaurants, it will send a message to the state legislature. And it's a matter of public safety. If it saves one life, if it avoids one injury, if it avoids one accident in a city of 8 square miles with 5 different intersections that the police department recommended be used, I think it would be worth our while. I had the good fortune in the last election 20 times to stand at different intersections holding signs for re-election. And many of you have done that in the past yourself. Whether you're a pedestrian, whether you're in a car driving, or whether you're watching, holding a sign. People, either with coffee, drinking, texting, all types of other mechanical, technological devices that we have today, they speed through these intersections. And this is an issue. Its time has come. I think Salem has to, just like in smoking, has to stand up and say, yes, we'll be the first one. And I hope we act on it, because as it was referred to the police department, it may take 4 to 6 months just to implement the process. So the longer we delay on this process, I hope we gather that information that's needed, as Councilor Prevey echoed in a summary, that we garner that information and act on it quickly. Because I had the good fortune a while ago sitting right where you are, Councilor Prevey, and I sat next to Councilor Sally Hayes, who sat in Councilor O'Keefe's seat. And she always said to me, as a new councilor way back when, always support, if they come with reason and good thought, the police department. And I've always done that in my 18 years here. And your father, as the police chief, and I think we all respect the police force, Chief Tucker and the ones that were here the other night, I think we ought to give them the consideration, give them the chance. They want it. We should, professionals, we elected officials, we should support our professionals. We supported our professionals in Councilor McCarthy's committee, Administration and Finance, Deb Jackson, Richard Biscay, on all the issues he talked about tonight. I think we should do the same thing and listen to our police department. If we have to say 6 months timeline, we have to review it, fine and dandy. But I think we should act on this situation. Its time has come. The people of Salem deserve public safety and health. And that's our committee, that's our mandate situation. And I think we should act on it quickly, not have it delayed in committee. Thank you.
Any other remarks, members of the City Council? All in favor of the recommendation of the committee? Opposed?
Opposed.
Unanimous. Oh, one opposed, Councilor Fury. I'm sorry, Councilor. Council President's not voting. Next matter, next items. Communications from city officials? None. Petitions.
We have a petition from Comcast for a conduit on Bridge Street.
Hearing ordered April 12th, 2012. Is there an address on the Bridge Street, Madam City Clerk? Oh, Councilor Sosnowski, you know?
Yeah, actually, it's, excuse me, it's actually a petition coming in for Ash Street, which is right
Ash?
off of Bridge Street.
So should this be changed? It says
Should it be changed? No, you can let it stay as
right.
it, well,
it's Bridge Street.
well, technically, yes, it should be changed. It's on Ash Street itself. All right?
Madam City Clerk, do you agree?
It never touches Bridge Street.
Well, they're going to notify people on Ash Street?
That's going to be part of the hearing when we
All
have
right,
it,
okay.
Mr.
Then it should
President.
say Ash Street, yeah. Probably. What is the City Clerk? I can't see. No, that's fine.
It
You're the
says
boss. Fine.
211 Bridge Street from existing Comcast vault on Ash Street Place.
Mr.
Counselor,
President,
go ahead.
Here's a situation. It's feeding a building that is on, excuse me, let me make sure I'm right when I say this. It's feeding a building whose address is Bridge Street. However, the conduit itself would have no impact at all on Bridge Street because it's totally on Ash Street. It starts at the top on the side that's pretty much opposite the back of 10 Federal Street. You know where that is, where I'm referring. Goes down in a total length of 50 feet and exits high up that little hill there on Ash Street into the back side of 211 Bridge Street. That's probably why they're calling it Bridge Street, only because the building they're servicing has an address of Bridge Street. But it's totally on Ash Street. So it's
Counsel,
your
I can
call.
recall when-
You might want to put Bridge Street / Ash Street if you want to get technical.
I can recall when Ash Street went right through to Federal.
Yes, I remember that as well.
Councilor Lovely, would you like to come up here and take?
So you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. Any other remarks on this petition? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed, so voted. Next matter, license application.
We have a list of license applications, secondhand valuable tag day and tag days.
Councilor Sosnowski?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Before I make a motion as to what I want to do with this, I want to make a comment here, and hopefully somebody in the council can help me out here. I was going to first of all say that I'd like to separate these matters, and the reason why I'd like to separate them is one of these tag days is coming up March 29th, and we will be having no more meetings between now and then. So if we refer it to committee, it won't come back.
So you're asking for division of the question?
However, before I do that first, I need to ask somebody, hopefully within the council, this is a Boston.
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
organization.
Who are that? Who are they?
That's my question. Does this benefit Salem teenagers? If it benefits Salem teenagers, then I would move to split the question and vote on that this evening. However, if it's a Boston organization, quite honestly, like last night, for example, I couldn't come to the meeting on the red lights, even though I introduced that about 3 or 4 years ago. I was at a Veterans Council meeting. In the past, we've had Veterans Council tag days, but then we had a tag day from a group in Rhode Island that wanted to tag here, and we said, no way. All right? Here, I don't know who this group is. I'm assuming it's a pretty decent group, but I wish I had more information on it, and we're unfortunately stuck with a timeline here. So before I move it to be referred to committee, can somebody help me out and tell me if this is a worthwhile
And the
organization
city
or not?
clerk or the assistant city clerk help us out?
Approve out of town.
Help the council? Madam City Clerk, do you know?
It's got the approval of police department. And that's what we go by.
We've never approved it out of town.
Are you satisfied, Council?
Councilor Sargent,
Councilor
Thank you.
Arthur Sergeant at large.
We've never approved an out-of-town tag day before. I mean, we would be swamped with out-of-town applications if we started approving out-of-town applications. We have people of Salem support the Salem organizations. If I go over to Marblehead Little League's out there, I'll support Marblehead Little League in Marblehead and any other town I'm in. But we have to be protective of this and not have our citizens with tag days all over the place every weekend of the year. It's difficult enough servicing our own organization. So if there was a chapter of this with a Salem address, then maybe we would consider it.
Councilor Turiel, Ward 5.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I did a search on this while we were sitting here, and Teen Challenge is a Christian residential drug recovery program out of Boston. And they do not have, that is their nearest location to us.
Councilor Todd Siegel, Ward 3.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm actually familiar a little bit with Teen Challenge. Actually sent clients there in the past. It is a drug treatment program. My understanding, I think it's on Long Island. They actually send people who are from the community, who are if someone from Salem is in the Teen Challenge, it's in their program, they usually send them back to their local communities to do tag days.
So you are familiar with this organization?
Yes.
And you support this? You support this application? Give us some help. Give the council some help.
I don't believe in sending people who are in recovery back to the place where they might have picked up their addiction. And that's what they kind of do here. I believe the work they do was fantastic by trying to help people who are in recovery, but I don't believe in sending someone who's in recovery back to the place, like I said.
All right, the Councilor Ryan, then Councilor Sosnowski. Councilor Jerry Ryan, Ward 4.
I don't think that you should support it, because if we do support this out of town, then that's gonna open the floodgates. You're gonna have to support the other ones. Unless they had a Salem address, I don't think we should support it.
Councilor Sosnowski.
I think the fair way to settle this, Mr. President, is what I'm going to recommend. Number one, I would recommend that we split this matter out, number one.
You're moving for a division of the question. And what you want to do?
I would move that one particular item on tag days be separated from the other tag day application and also from the secondhand
All right,
value.
what's your motion, sir? Teen Challenge
I
will...
would first move that the Teen Challenge application for a tag day be separated from the other items first.
All right, all in favor? Remarks on that? All in favor? Opposed or voted? So it's separated.
Mr. President, what I would do now is I would like to separately, tentatively approve that with the condition that it be denied if there's no Salem teenagers involved in the program.
Who's going to determine that?
It has to go to the Salem Police Department.
How are we going to do
find out,
that?
Wouldn't it?
It's already approved.
What is the city clerk? I can't hear you, man. What do you recommend? What is the city clerk, what do you?
Listen,
We send everything to
we don't support a
the
veteran.
police chief for his signature. Normally, he doesn't approve of out-of-town organizations, but this one he did because there are Salem kids involved in it.
Councilor Siegel again.
Thank you, Mr.
Councilor,
President.
you still have the, I'll get back to you, Councilor.
I'll relinquish the floor
All right,
momentarily.
Councilor Todd Siegel.
Thank you. I don't believe we can ask under the HIPAA laws of who's in that program. So I don't believe we can ask
I don't
the
need-
Salem people in there. I don't think they can tell us who's there or where they're from.
Councilor Sosnowski.
Mr. President, I don't need their name, I just need to know if they're from Salem or not. If they're not from Salem, and this is an out-of-town organization, then no, I'm going to actually let it stay the way, I would rescind my last motion, and I'm gonna refer this back to our committee, and it's gonna essentially die there, all right?
Well, we got to discharge it we've discharged. Now, you want it back, sir?
Well, I'm not saying that yet. I mean, I'm listening to all the comments that everybody's making here, and this is why I asked the people to make these comments, because this is an area that I'm not familiar with. I'm hearing content
Yes, we are.
that, from an experienced attorney that deals with these matters all the time, that technically it doesn't help. All right? I'm hearing from that the chief of police has signed off on it because there are Salem kids involved. I'm hearing comments being said that we do not want to open up the floodgate to other communities outside of us coming into Salem to tag. I mean, we have so many things going on, so many different sports programs where we always are allowing them to tag through Salem. I mean, at the same time, if we start opening this up to outside communities to come into Salem, you're never, ever going to walk down the street without having a can stuck in your face. All right? I'm not really opposed to the kids of, I'm not at all opposed to the kids of Salem doing this, but when it comes to an outside organization, I want to hear some more comments, and hopefully somebody can help clarify
Councilor
this
Preeve,
one.
Ward 6 next, then Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Teen Challenge is pretty well known, I think, throughout the United States as an organization that does a lot of good work, which Councilor Segal just cited. And even though it's Boston-based, it helps people outside of Boston and around the community, wherever people have addiction. And obviously, it's prevalent throughout every community. They don't have a Salem office. I understand that. I would certainly support this time giving them the opportunity for a tag day. But I think, everyone's probably in agreement that we have to be very careful as to approving outside organizations, and also just given the timeline. I mean, normally in this case, if we had more time than this tag day, we would refer to committee, perhaps contact someone associated with this organization and get more information. We're trying to string this together right now. So I think in terms of giving them the benefit of the doubt and trying to support a good organization, I would be in favor of supporting them this time. But kind of moving forward, I think we need to have a conversation with the chief, because obviously, as the city clerk said, or I think it was the city clerk said, that he normally doesn't approve those things, but he did in this case. So I say this one time we should do it. I understand the argument about not opening up the floodgates. I don't think we're doing that by granting approval, so I would certainly support approving this, given the circumstances. Thank you.
Councilor Todd Siegel, Ward 3.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just like to clarify something that was said. I didn't state that I don't believe the program works. My concern is, in the past, I believe they send kids who leave Salem to get drug treatment back to Salem to do the tag day. And that's the problem I have. I have no problem with them doing a tag day, but I don't believe they should be sending kids who leave the area to get help back into the den. I think that could be a problem. That's just what I want to clarify.
Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this point, I'm going to let my motion stand. I want to separate it. I want to vote on this separately. I want to vote first on the teen challenge itself. And at this point, I'm going to actually support it based on testimony from people that I value their opinion of. All right? But I'm going to have a conversation with the police chief, and I'm going to find out what's going on with this myself. And we'll keep a tentative eye on this. I'm sure that, everything that comes here, if it's from an outside organization, it still has to pass our approval. And I'm going to keep a very close eye on this one, and we'll go from there. So first of all, I would ask to separate it and
Wise
vote on
and
that one
prudent
separately.
discussion, Councilor.
Excuse me?
President?
Councilor Ryan, did you, Councilor Arthur Sergeant at large.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a possible scenario, I mean, we have people from Salem who are members of VFW in Marblehead, in Swampscott, in Danvers, in Beverly. We have people that are members of Moose, Elks, all those associations that are Salem residents, and vice versa. the out-of-town residents can tag in Salem with the Salem Elks, the Salem Knights of Columbus, the Salem Moose, the Salem Veterans Association. But the Danvers Veterans Association can't come here and tag even though they have Salem residents. We have children who go to Hamilton Wenham High School on school choice. They play baseball for Hamilton Wenham baseball or football for Hamilton Wenham baseball. Because they have a Salem resident as a member of the team, we can't bring those teams over here to start tagging. Can you picture what it would be like, the applications just around Halloween in October in Salem? How chaotic that would be. It's just a difficult door to open to start letting out-of-town organizations start doing tag days in Salem. Thank you.
Councilor Ryan, Ward 4.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree with Councilor Sargent. I think we're letting the horse out of the barn. It seems like we're being rushed. I mean, we should take our time and get all the information we need before we make a decision. If they can do a tag day next month or whatever, we shouldn't open up this can of worms. I mean, we should get our information, and the chief of police, I mean, with this exception, he should have came and let us know what the difference was. It seems like we're being rushed, and we're going to make a decision where we're going to have consequences down the road.
Any other remarks? Hearing none? Hearing? Councilor Sosnowski.
All right, Mr. President, so that we have this matter clarified. Number one, it got approval to be separated first. Is that correct, Mr. President?
That's before the council.
Okay, fine.
Division of
That
the
being said,
question. Yes.
Are we going to vote on just
Well,
the team
if we
challenge?
stop discussing it, I'll call for the vote.
I'm just getting the clarification, Mr. President, so we know what we're talking about here. All right, I want to make sure that that's clear to everybody that's going to.
That is positively clear. I will discuss the ramifications. If we vote to discharge, separate this, it's out of discussion before the council. Then we can.
It's already been voted on to separate it.
You moved to separate the question.
Yes, and it was voted on and approved.
Yes, you want to withdraw that?
No, I want
Okay.
that to remain, Mr. President. Now now that it's separated, I want to vote on that one item.
Well, it hasn't been voted yet to separate.
Well, that's what I'm asking
All
you to
right,
move the
then
question.
we'll ask the question then. All in favor of separating the motion? We'll call the roll. Call the roll. 3 hands, call the roll. 3 hands, call the roll.
No
Clerk will
roll
please call the
Mr.
roll.
President.
No
You
question?
don't need a roll call, Mr.
All in favor of division of the question? All opposed? None. All right, now divided. What now, Councilor Sosnowski? As the chairman of the committee,
Okay.
what's
Then
next?
In this point, Mr. President, what I would ask is, I would move for approval of the Teen Challenge Tag Day on March 29th and 30th.
And for the...
No, just that item, Mr. President, we separated it.
All right. Why would you want to do that, Councilor? I mean, why not Salem High at the same time?
Because they're in September.
They're a separate date, Mr. President. I'm worried about this particular one.
But it's a tag day. All right.
Mr. President, the
all right.
Salem High School is in September.
All right. All right. All in favor of approval of team? All in favor?
It's on clarification. We separated the questions. What about the secondhand valuables? Are they all broken up, or is it just the?
Just this.
That's a separate vote.
Just, we voted on the
That's
separating.
what I was trying to clarify, Mr. President.
Oh, then we're voting on all of it.
No, Mr. President, no, Mr. President. Very simply this, all right? I want to vote on one subject. That one subject is the Teen Challenge Tag Day for March 29th and 30th of this month. That's the only thing that I want to be voting
All right.
on right now. Now that we voted to separate that from the other 3 items.
Is the council clear? The president is now clear. All in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed. Again, how many opposed?
Opposed.
I'm opposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's defeated.
Okay, now, Mr. President,
Council, did I count you? Council
I'd like to move
Lovely.
immediate reconsideration.
Move immediate reconsideration. I hope they will not prevail. I think we should call the roll.
Well, I'd like to have an
Remarks?
opportunity to say something, yes.
All right, remarks,
If-
madam.
if they'll move for reconsideration for another vote, I'd like to.
All in favor of immediate reconsideration? Unanimous. Councilor Lovely,
Thank you,
at
Mr.
large.
President. Just speaking with the city clerk, the remaining of the remainder of the calendar for tag days is taken up. This was actually, they wanted another weekend, it got pushed. I actually got to read the information on there, I know this side didn't get to read. This is the weekend that this is that they'll be able to occur. If it doesn't occur now, it's not gonna occur probably maybe till the fall or maybe next year. I think we do. I think we give this organization a chance. It is signed off by our police chief, who we trust to examine and make sure that this is a good organization.
I don't think it's going to open the floodgates. We can do these one at a time based on their merits. You know, let's give this one an opportunity to come in and tag here, and it benefits Salem residents, Salem teenagers. We know that. We know that the chief, that's why he signed off of it, because it's going to benefit Salem teenagers. Let's do this one at a time on their merits, and let's pass this one.
Thank you, Councilor Lovely. Councilor McCarthy, Ward 1.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've been sitting back listening to both sides, and it's a difficult question, but I guess the biggest question would be, is there any way that we could table this and then get some information from the police chief, and then, as we've done in the past with tag days that come in late, is there any way then 6 of us that agree with that could then go into the city clerk's office and sign off on the tag day after we have a discussion with the police chief to make, because, I mean, unfortunately, I haven't had the ability to read that, and I understand it's short term in front of us, and I don't like that, but at the same time the police chief signed off on it for a reason. I'd like to talk to him and find out why he signed off on it. As Council Lovely just stated, I mean, obviously, they've looked at the calendar with regards to tag days, and the tag days are filling up fast and furious, so this is the only weekend available for them. And to give it the due diligence that it probably deserves, I just was wondering, since we're reconsidering this, is there any way that we could table this, have a discussion, and then get the information, and then the city clerk can put it out the email and say, if anyone wants to sign off on the tag day, I need 6 signatures by such and such a date so it can happen. I'll throw it out there if that can happen. If we can do it that way we don't have to shoot it down right now or approve it right now. If we can figure this out and then do it that way. So
Could the city
I'll just leave it
clerk
at that.
advise the chair on this matter? Could it's possible to do this and then have 6 members come in and sign? Well, it's the will of the council, that's true. Whatever the council in his wisdom wishes to do. Any remarks? Again, Councilor Sosnowski?
Thank you, Mr. President. I tried to get to this point at the beginning of this conversation with a tentative agreement. However, I would accept Councilor McCarthy's variation on that, and I would like to table this matter for, what's today's date? Today is the 22nd. Well, we just don't have a lot of time, Mr. President. Right, this is the following weekend. Actually, I'm going to yield the floor momentarily to Councilor Lovely.
Councilor Lovely at large.
I don't think that tabling the matter was probably the proper method, although I agree with what you were trying to do. I think what we should do is refer this to the city clerk, and then to allow us to answer our questions the next week, and then if 6 of us are satisfied, then we can sign it, and then they can have their tag date next weekend. So I think referring it to the city clerk is probably...
Council, a motion to table is automatic. It doesn't, you want to table this, it's automatic. You don't even vote on it. Councilor Sosnowski?
What I'm going to do at this point is, like I told all the councilors a moment ago, I am going to be talking with the chief of police, assuming he's available tomorrow, and I will send out the end result of that conversation to all the councilors, and I hope that doesn't violate an open meeting law rule. However, this is kind of a special exception. I will find out from the chief of police, if he's aware of the fact of the debates, the merits of the debates this evening. All right, the pros, the cons, everything that's been said this evening. If he is, whatever he says to me, I will relate that to all the councilors. At that point, after we refer this to the city clerk, I like Councilor Lovely's idea to refer it to the city clerk. If at that point the councilors decide that they want to come into the clerk's office and sign this off, then so be it. If there's 6 signatures, it passes. All right, and we go from there. All right, and then we find out where it goes at that point.
So what is before the council what are we voting on, sir? So we all know. What is your recommendation?
Yeah.
Instead of a motion for approval, my motion would be that it be referred to the city clerk to hold it for a couple of days?
Refer it to the city clerk's office for further review.
That it be referred to the city clerk's office to be held until I can get back with the answers within the next few days.
But Council, why don't we just approve it? If you find out something, we'll come later on and back it off of it. I mean, that's what the easiest thing.
Mr. President, what happens if I talk to the chief of police tomorrow and he tells me that he's not aware of any Salem kids that are benefiting from this program? What do I do then?
I'd be surprised that he would say that if he's already signed this. Councilor McCarthy
I'm
has...
asking you, what do I do if that happens, Mr. President?
Well, then you'd be concerned, but I think the majority of the rest of us would know better next time. Counsel McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to withdraw my previous motion. I agree with Counsel Lovely. I think that this matter needs to be referred to the city clerk. And secondly, with regard to what Counsel Sosnowski just stated, I believe somebody in this body should have a conversation with the police chief, and then the police chief should either via email or a letter, send a letter to the city clerk, which then she can distribute to all of us, so we can read his remarks, not based on the, what Counsel Sosnowski said. So I think that the chief needs to put down his thoughts in writing to us, and then the city clerk can convey that to all of us, and then we can all make a decision based on what the chief has said. So I think that one of us, Counsel Sosnowski, wants to take the forefront on this, that's fine. Being the chair of that committee, should contact the police chiefs, expound on our concerns with this, and have the chief just write a brief why he granted approval, so we have an understanding of that, and then we at that point can decide whether or not we want to go in and sign off on the approval for the tag day. I think that makes it clearer, fairer, doesn't violate any rules, laws with regard to open meeting, because the flipping back and forth of emails from each other is, you know, a touchy subject. So
So you're withdrawing your motion?
I'm withdrawing my motion to table.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
All in
support
favor of
I'm
Counsel
gonna support Councilor Lovely's motion of referring the matter to the city clerk's office, with the caveat that the Council Sosnowski, being chair of the committee, contacts the chief, and the chief sends us an email with regards to what his reasoning was for his approval.
Sending all of us an email, the whole
Sending it
city
to the
council.
clerk, and the clerk will distribute
All
it
right,
to us.
that's perfect. All right, thank you. Everybody understand the motion? All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Now, the matter before us is the adoption of this team approval.
No.
No? Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you. Now that matter's been put to rest. Now the matter that's before us are the three other matters that are on that same order. To which, well, excuse me, you're right, correct, my mistake. Two other matters. The matter of the secondhand valuable license and the other tag day for Salem High School Latina Club on September 29th and 30th of this year. And I move that these matters be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
All in favor? Remarks? Adopted. License applications?
We have limousine, taxi cabs, and taxi operator license applications.
Councilor Sosnowski?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these matters be granted.
Councilor Sosnowski moves that all of the matters, limousine, taxi case, taxi operator, all be adopted. No remarks?
No remarks, Mr. President.
All in favor, they be granted. Opposed, so voted unanimous.
We have one taxi operator license application for denial.
Councilor Sosnowski?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this particular application be denied.
Councilor Sosnowski moves that the application of Samuel Wayasono be denied. All in favor? Opposed, so voted. Councilor Sosnowski.
A hearing request from Samuel Reynoso on the denial of his taxi operator license. I move that this particular matter be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs to hold an executive session.
All in favor of the adoption of the recommendation of the committee?
That's not a recommendation of the committee. I'm just moving it to the committee, to an executive session.
All right, all in favor? Opposed, so voted. Claims,
We
Councilor.
have two claims.
Councilor, what's your
I move that
recommendation?
these matters be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Councilor Sosnowski moves that the claim of Jeffrey McKee and Paula Patton Jr. be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. All in favor? Opposed, so voted. Next matter. Unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, limited time, Reed Street in front of number 10.
Councilor Todd Siegel, Ward 3.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion for adoption for second and final passage.
Motion for adoption of the ordinance amending traffic on Reed Street.
No discussion.
Remarks? You don't have to. All in favor? Opposed, so voted. Unanimous. Councilor Lovely? Oh, Councilor Prevey. One or the other. Councilor Prevey moves to adjourn. All in favor? Opposed, so voted. Thank you.